I'm Liv and welcome back to my channel Endless Pages, and welcome to another hectic book haul. So it's actually been, I think I checked, like 3 months since I filmed a book haul, and yeah, you guys maybe thought I was like slowing down on my spending because I wasn't filming hauls, but that's a lie. I just haven't been filming properly. And over the last 3 months I have collected quite a large number of books I have here to show you guys. So once again, no judgment please, and yeah, let's just get into what I've gotten recently. Okay, first up, I've probably told you this before on my channel, but I collect editions of The Secret Garden. It's one of my favourite childhood books, and recently I found 2 new, quite unique compared to my other editions. This one I found in this bookshop in this small town when I was away for the weekend. A lovely cute little pink edition in paperback, and then this one which was in Dymocks, which again is gorgeous. I don't have any editions with her on the actual cover, and this is a hardback. Yeah, so that's the first 2 books I got. So next up I got Bluebird by Cecile Pilote. This is an adult space opera, which is very exciting because I love a good space opera. I believe I saw this on Gem from Pages of Gem's channel. I will link her in the description below. And I saw her talking about it and I was like, I must have this. So I finally got my hands on it. This is set in this world where there's like different factions that control the world, run by these 3 like very bad guys. And we have our main character Rig, who's like a thief and an outlaw, and she's always kind of kept ahead of the factions. But then one of them, Pyrate, takes Rig's like sister, and Rig has something that he wants. And so she kind of does this little bit of a team up with her librarian girlfriend and a assassin, I believe. Yeah, and I love the last line of the blurb. Rig's here to be gay, do crime, and hopefully not die during the process. How fun does that sound? So that is Bluebird. Next up is Saga Volume 2 by Brian K. Vaughan. This is the 2nd volume in a graphic novel series about 2 people that are on opposite sides of this galactic war, and they risk it all by bringing a child into the world. Loved Volume 1. The cover is sick, and there was such a good like cliffhanger ending, and I really would like to see where this one goes because I know it's going to be a wild ride. I then also got Paper Girls Volume 2 by Brian K. Vaughan again. This one, I kind of liked Volume 1, but it was kind of confusing, and I'm willing to give it one more shot, and if I don't like this, I'm gonna like not continue on with the series. This is just set in like the 1980s, and it's about paper delivery girls, and they kind of get pulled into this alien kind of, alien plot in their town. Yeah, as I said, the first one was a little confusing, so I'm hoping this one gets a little bit better for me. Then I got one of my most anticipated reads of the year, which was A Magic Steeped in Poison by Judy I. Lin. I cannot stop staring at the cover. This is about our main character Ning, who unknowingly accidentally brews the tea that kills her mother and now could kill her sister as well. So then she enters this competition that is the aim is to find the master of like magical tea making. So the winner of that competition wins a favour from the princess, so this may be Ning's only opportunity to save her sister, and it sounds like there's going to be like love interest and politics and backstabbing, so I'm really nervous to read this one because it's so anticipated. I keep avoiding picking it up, but I've heard only good stuff. Okay, manga time. So I got Volume 2, Volume 3 and Volume 4 of Spy X Family. This is a wholesome manga. This is about a guy called Twilight, and Twilight is a spy. He has to infiltrate this school, so he creates a little fake family. He adopts a daughter who he doesn't realise is a telepath, and his wife he doesn't realise is an assassin. So it's that funny kind of situational comedy, but still some really cool action at the same time. I've been really, like, every time I go manga shopping, I can never find the one volume I'm looking for. So every time I'm at Kinokuniya, I just grab whatever volumes are there because I know the next time I'm going to be looking for them, I'm not going to be able to find them. Then we have Blue Exorcist Volume 2 and 3. I adored the first one. This is about a boy who discovers his father is Satan, so he goes to this school called True Cross Academy to learn to be an exorcist. Really looking forward to continuing on with this series. Then we have Bungo Stray Dogs Volume 1. I haven't heard much about this one. I know it's kind of popular, I think. This is about a guy that gets ejected from this orphanage, and then he helps this, like, stops this guy from committing suicide, and the guy that he stopped is part of this, what do they call it, like a detective agency staffed by individuals with supernatural powers. So he helps him hunt down a man-eating tiger. So it sounds good. I'm very curious about it. Finally, for manga, I got my hands on the black editions of Death Note. So this is volume 2, which contains volume 3 and 4, and then volume 3, which contains volume 5 and 6, if that's not confusing. This is my favorite anime. Death Note is about a boy, like a high school boy called Light, and he finds this book that has been dropped, and it's called the Death Note, and whoever's name you write in it will die, like within, I can't remember how many, like 15 seconds or something. Yeah, so this is a fantastic manga. Again, I really struggled to find these editions, so I'm so excited. I might pick these up this afternoon, actually. I've been waiting to read these for so long. Then I got Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshiki Kawaguchi. I've heard fabulous things about this book. This is set in Tokyo in this little cafe where you can travel back in time, but there are rules. You have to sit in a particular seat, you can't leave the cafe, and you have to get back before the coffee gets cold. And we follow 4 individual stories. One who is hoping to receive a letter from their husband whose memory has begun to fade, someone who wants to see their sister one more time, someone who wants to meet the daughter they never got the chance to know, and the last one to confront the lover who left them. So this sounds like it's going to be really moving. Then I got Lore Olympus Volume 2 by Rachel Smith. This is the second book in the graphic novel series. Originally that was a webtoon that's being published physically. This is just a Hades and Persephone retelling. I really adored the first one. A little bit slow paced, so I'm hoping a little bit more plot happens in this one. I'm so dirty. I paid for this, like, you know, the usual ridiculous Australian amount, and then just saw yesterday that they brought it into Big W. And I totally could have waited. Like, I didn't need to have this straight away. So I'm still salty about that. Next up are 2 gifts from my mum because she's the sweetest. So this first one, I was telling her about how much this kid's book, like board book, makes me cackle. So she got it for me. Am I almost 24? Yes. Am I going to display this? Absolutely. This is I Want My Hat Back by John Clazen. It's just a little board book about a bear that's lost his party hat and he wants it back. It's so funny. I laugh every time. I love it. I love the drawing style as well. So iconic book. So I'm gonna absolutely display this one. And then the second one is The Merciless Ones by Namina Fauna. So this is the sequel to The Gilded Ones. Look how stunning these books look together. Just absolutely stunning. My mum obviously doesn't know every book I own, and when she gets me a book, it just feels like so nice because I know that she puts so much thought and effort in trying to pick out something that I would like and recognize something I don't already own. So good work. She did such a good job on this. She was so impressed. I was so impressed and she was so impressed. So I don't really know much about what this book is about, so I'm just going to read off Goodreads. This is about 16-year-old Decca. She lives in fear of the blood ceremony that will determine whether she will become a member of her village, and then during the ceremony her blood runs gold instead of red, and gold is the colour of impurity, and she knows that this will mean a fate worse than death. And then a mysterious woman comes to her village with a choice: stay in the village and submit to her fate, or leave and fight the emperor. Fight for the emperor in an army of girls just like her. They're called Alakai, near immortals with rare gifts, and they're the only ones that can stop the empire's greatest threat. Decca decides to leave the only life she's ever known, but journeys to the capital to train for the biggest battle of her life. She will discover that the great walled city holds many surprises. So, sounds amazing, and I am still obsessed with how amazing these books look together. Then we have shock horror. I know this is wild. I purchased a non-fiction book. I know, everyone calm down. It's okay. I'm okay. This is not a warning sign. I'm really interested in this story. This is Under the Banner of Heaven, written by Jon Krakauer. This is a non-fiction story about 2 men, Ron and Dan Lafferty, brothers who killed a mother and her child. Ron and Dan are members of the fundamentalist Latter-day Saints, like Mormons, like I guess you would say the more stricter branch of Mormonism. I don't know if that's the correct word. And yeah, it's about the true story of them murdering this woman and her child. I also want to watch this because they just released a TV version with Andrew Garfield playing the detective. So I want to know the actual story before I watched a like dramatized version of it. Next up, I got a young adult science fiction novel because I keep saying I need to read more science fiction. So that is the first in the Gear Breakers series, Gear Breakers by Zoe Hannah Makuta. This is set in this place called the Badlands where there are these rulers called Godolia, and they're like the overlords, and they are aided by these mechanical weapons called wind-ups. Then we have our main character whose name is Eris. That's it. Eris is a gear breaker and a rebel, and their job is to take these wind-ups down from the inside. And then Eris happens to find herself in a Godolia prison. In the prison, she meets this cybernetically enhanced wind-up pilot called Sona, who at first she thinks is her enemy, and then she discovers that Sona actually has a secret. She is a rebel that has secretly infiltrated the wind-up kind of pilot program. So the two of them go on a mission to end Godolia's reign once and for all. There might also be potentially some queer romance, so I'm ready. So next up, I got Ice Planet Barbarians. This is by Ruby Dixon. This cover is amazing. I love these special edition covers, especially if you compare it to the original cover, which was just, yep, that's it there. Yeah, this is basically blue alien smart bunch of human women get abducted by aliens, and then the alien has like ship troubles and they get like trapped on this icy planet, and they need to find ways to keep themselves occupied. That's all I'm going to say about that. Curiosity killed the cat. I love the meme that people started reading this like ironically, and now like half of BookTube is genuinely so invested and in love with these books, and I want to be a part of that. And I just have to know. I have to know what it's like. I have to know if it's good. And I was bright red in the face because I was trying to find this book. I'd been book shopping all day and I couldn't find it anywhere. Because, you know, I'd been seeing it all over the place and I'd been like umming and ahhing, and then one day I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get it, and that day I couldn't find it anywhere. So I had to ask. I'm so sorry to the person that I asked about this book. I was bright red in the face. I was like, do you have the Ice Planet Barbarians, please? So yeah, that was very embarrassing, but I'm excited. Then I got Firefly, Big Damn Hero by James Lovegrove. If you didn't know, Firefly is this old show that was cut down in its prime. It's basically like this space western kind of TV show, and they made a movie as well. I love that show. Fantastic show. I heard, I think it was Jem again, who was talking about this book because she's a fan of Firefly, and she said that people have said that this is a great filler for people that feel like they got robbed. The show went way too soon and did not have enough episodes, so this is a good way to kind of make you feel a little bit better about the show being cut down in its prime. Yeah, I'm curious. I don't know what this will be like. I've heard it's got the same vibe as the show, and the characters are pretty accurate to their original characters, so we will see. So next up I got Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I don't know if I'm gonna like this one, guys, because it's about tennis and I could not give a rat's ass about sport, but it's Taylor Jenkins Reid, so you know I'm gonna buy it anyway. This is about Carrie Soto, who is a tennis player. She's been retired for about 6 years, and then she's watching the 1994 US Open one year, and she sees this woman called Nikki Chan just cut down her record. So she then decides at 37 years old, which is old in terms of like tennis and sport, to come out of retirement. Yeah, so basically she just wants to come back to reclaim her record. I don't know about this one, guys. Like, is there going to be lots of tennis talk? Because that's going to not end well. I'm not going to be able to pay attention. I'm nervous. It's making me a little nervous that it's going to put me off Taylor Jenkins Reid, because that would be quite sad. Next up, another highly anticipated read of mine, This All Comes Back Now, by edited by Michaela Saunders. This is an anthology series written by First Nations, so Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders. I really am looking forward to this one. I feel like it's going to be confronting and quite powerful, and yeah, I'm really excited to see the kind of creative and wonderful stories that people have created. Then I got The Gilded Cage by Lynette Noni, another Aussie author. This is the second book in the Prison Healer trilogy. I loved The Prison Healer, especially the last line of the book. What a cliffhanger. I would have been so salty if I had been reading these as they were being published, because wow, what a way to end a book. So I'm really excited to see the consequences in this book, and the plot really get started. I mean, the first one was quite fast paced, but this one I feel like is going to be pretty hectic. So this is about 17-year-old Kiva. Kiva is a prisoner in this prison where she's been for the last 10 years, and she's the prison's healer. And then one day the rebel Queen gets brought into the prison, and she's really ill, but Queen is meant to go through these kind of elemental trials, which is only given to the most deadliest criminals, and then she gets a coded message from her family that says, don't let her, like, what is it? Don't let her die, we are coming. So Kiva decides to volunteer herself in the place of the queen, the rebel queen, because the rebel queen's too sick to compete in the trials. So yeah, she has to kind of fight for her own life and the queen's life. And there's a prison riot kind of brewing, a mysterious illness going through the prison, and a mysterious boy as well. So yeah, we don't really get to know much about the potential love interest in this book, in the first book, so I'm really excited to learn more about him, because I just know I'm gonna love him. Next up, I got Wolfsong by TJ Klune. I got this because it's TJ Klune. Earlier this year, I read his novels Under the Whispering Door and House in the Australian Sea and fell in love with his writing style, so I must read everything he's published. This just came into Big W. I think I paid like $12, bargain. So let me read the blurb, because I don't really know what it's about. So it's about Ox, and when he was 12, his father taught him a lesson that he wasn't worth anything. Then he left him. When Ox was 16, a family called the Bennett family moves next door with a secret that they are shapeshifters and they can turn him to wolves at will. He's drawn to the friendship they offer, particularly the youngest son, Joe. He's charming and handsome, but haunted by scars he cannot heal. Then at 23, murder came to the town and tore a hole in his heart. Violence fled, and tragedy split the pack, and Joe left town, leaving Ox behind. We then jump 3 years later, and the boy is back, except now he's a man, and Ox can no longer ignore the song that howls between them. So I just know this is going to be amazing, and I know I'm going to love it. So then I got Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. This is by Gabrielle Zevin. I got this book purely because of hype. I heard people say the writing is amazing. A few book talkers whose opinions I really trust said the writing was amazing. But again, like Carrie Soto, the issue is that the book is about gaming, which I'm not really into. The furthest I would game would be Sims or Animal Crossing. I play a little bit of Mario Odyssey, but that's it. So I just don't know if I'm quite the target audience, but I'm willing to give it a go because I heard the writing is really good. This is about two people that meet in a hospital in 1987. One is there visiting their sister, and one is there recovering from a car crash, and they kind of bond over their shared love of video games. And then I think it's like 8 years later, they spot each other, and then they have this opportunity to collaborate on what they love together, creating video games to kind of amaze and challenge players, and their collaboration kind of makes them famous. So it's about, yeah, them dealing with that. I've heard it's fantastic and just beautifully written. Then we have Our Crooked Hearts. This is by Melissa Albert. This book's kind of been on my radar, but like not a priority. I mean, Melissa Albert is the author of the Hazelwoods series, which I love. So, you know, it's got that going for it. And then it was at Big W one day when I lost my mind and like went crazy at Big W. So justified, definitely. This is about, well, there's kind of two stories. We have Ivy, who one summer all these sacrifices are getting left at her door, and she's also being like haunted by these, what would you call them, like fractured memories of her childhood, which is making her think that there is more to her mother than meets the eye. And then we also have her mother's story, Dana, whose life began when she was 16, when she started to have like a love with the supernatural, and she realizes that the powers she's playing with are also playing with her. So yeah, I think it's about years later, about the mother and daughter and the reckoning between them and the dark forces that they never should have messed with. Then I got Galatea by Madeline Miller. This is her short story. It's so cute and small. Oh my god. Anything to keep me going until her next book is very much appreciated. This is about this sculptor who sculpts this beautiful woman and is blessed by a goddess, and the goddess brings the sculpture to life, and the sculptor is Galatea, and he expects Galatea to be an obedient and submissive wife. So it's kind of the story about that, and about she gets locked away in this hospital, but she wants to get out to see her daughter. I think this is going to be beautiful because it's Madeline Miller's writing. It's such a pity it's just a short story and not a thick book from her. I know she is writing a book, but God knows when that's coming out. So this will fill the Madeline Miller shaped hole in my heart. Next up is The Stardust Thief. This is by Chelsea Abdullah. I'm sorry, this is another one I'm just going to have to read off. So this is about Luli al-Nazari. She is the Midnight Merchant, a criminal who, with the help of her jinn bodyguard, hunts and sells illegal magic. When she saves the life of a cowardly prince, she draws the attention of his powerful father, the Sultan, who blackmails her into finding an ancient lamp that has the power to revive the barren land at the cost of sacrificing all jinn. She has no choice but to obey, or she's going to be executed. She journeys with the Sultan's oldest son and one of his infamous 40 thieves to find the artifact. They must survive ghoul attacks, outwit a vengeful Jinn Queen, and confront a malicious killer from her past. In a world where story is reality and illusion is truth. That's a really cool sentence, I like that. Anyway, she will discover that everything, her enemy, her magic, even her own past, is not what it seems. Now she must decide who she will become. Next up, Hotel Magnaquis. This is by Emily J. Taylor. I'm excited for this one. It sounds fun. We have the hotel, which is this kind of major place of opulence, and it changes locations every night, and one night it appears in our main character Jani's hometown, and then she wants to get her sister and herself a job there to escape their kind of dreary life, and they're both successful in getting jobs, but they start to slowly discover kind of sinister cracks in the hotel and get pulled into this secret of the hotel's magic. So I feel like this is going to be a really fun time. So next up, I got a post-apocalyptic book, and that is Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. I've heard amazing stuff about the writing. So this is set in this world where there was a flu pandemic. I know. That pretty much brought civilization to its knees and ended civilization as we know it. We follow our main character Kirsten, who travels between the settlements with a small troupe of actors and musicians. They call themselves the Traveling Symphony, and they have dedicated themselves to keeping pretty much humanity and art alive. They end up at this place called St. Deborah by the water. They encounter a violent prophet who will threaten the tiny band's existence. As the story takes off, moving back and forth in time and vividly depicting life and before and after the pandemic, the strange twist of fate that connects them all will be revealed. Next up, I got Killjoy. This is by Holly Jackson. This is a kind of a little short prequel to the Good Girls Guide to Murder trilogy, one of my favorite trilogies ever. This is set in a 1920s theme, kind of like, you know, those themed parties where you have to figure out the killer, and Pip gets drawn into the make-believe world of figuring out who the murderer is, and it sounds like really fun, and I love the world of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and I'm just excited that I can get a little bit more of it even though it's done. So next up, I got The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axie Oh. This is a retelling of a Korean legend. We have this village that has been ravaged for generations by these storms. They believe that the sea god that once protected them has kind of cursed them, so every year they throw a girl into the sea as they're trying to find the sea god's one true bride, which I believe will bring an end to the storms. we have a main character, Shim, whose brother's beloved is the most beautiful girl in the village, and she has been chosen as this year's sacrifice. Her brother, knowing that interfering is a death sentence, jumps in after his beloved to save her, and to save her brother, Shim also jumps in, and she gets dragged away to the spirit realm, where she finds the sea god kind of trapped in this enchanted sleep. So with the help of a motley crew and this mysterious boy, she goes on a journey to wake the sea god. Next up, I got The Disasters by M.K. England. This sounds really fun. It's like a young adult space opera, potentially found family. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. I'm not 100% sure. If you do know, please let me know, because found family is my favorite. This is about our main character, Max, who is this hotshot pilot, and he's not known for making the best life choices. So in less than 24 hours, he gets kicked out of the Elias, what is it called? The Elias Station Academy. And then he's set on a ship straight back to Earth. But that gets interrupted because the academy gets attacked by terrorists, and him and a bunch of other outcasts are witnesses, and they survive this attack. So him and these other kind of outcasts are the perfect scapegoats. They have been framed for the attack and they're on the run, and they attempt to pull off one crazy heist to tell the world the truth about what really happened. Next up, The Luminous Dead by Caitlin Starling. This is about a character called Guy, and they lied themselves onto an expedition. She thought she'd be mapping mineral deposits, and the greatest dangers might be cave collapses and gear malfunctions. She also thought the fat paycheck meant she'd get a skilled surface team monitoring her suit and environment, keeping her safe, keeping her sane. Instead, she got M. M sees nothing wrong with controlling her body with drugs or withholding critical information to ensure the smooth operation of her expedition. M knows all about her falsified credentials and has no qualms using them as a leash and a lash. And M has secrets too. As she descends, mounting inconsistencies, missing supplies, unexpected changes in the route, and worst of all, shifts in M's motivations weigh on her more than the rocks overhead. Lost and disorientated, she finds a sense of control giving way to paranoia and anger. On her own, in this mysterious, deadly place, surrounded by darkness and unknown, she must overcome more than the dangerous terrain and the tunneler that calls the underground its home if she wants to make it out alive. She must confront the ghost in her own head, but why can't she shake the feeling she's being followed? This sounds really like mind-bending and that it's really going to mess with me, and I'm really excited. I might read this in October. This seems like a kind of an October kind of vibe. Next up, I got Burn Down Rise Up by Vincent Torrado. This is a really cool looking book, but look at just like the bare look how cool that is. Got a bug on it. Like, that's so unique. I don't have anything like this. It's really creepy though. This is set in the Bronx, and for more than a year, a bunch of people keep going missing. Our main character is called Raquel, and she does her best to ignore it because the police only look for the white kids. But then she has a crush called Charlize, and Charlize's cousin goes missing. So then Raquel starts to pay a bit more attention, especially when her mother comes down with this mysterious illness. And then they discover it's linked to this urban legend game called the Echo Game, and the game is rumoured to have trapped people in the kind of underground of the city. It sounds really creepy and mysterious. Maybe another October read. Then I got The Left-Handed Booksellers of London. This is by Garth Nix. This is my very first time reading a Garth Nix book. So this is set in 1983. We follow an art student, Suzanne Arkshaw. She's looking for her father, a man she's never known. But before she can question her first suspect, he's turned to dust by the prick of a silver hat pin in the hands of the mysterious Merlin, a young left-handed bookseller on a quest of his own. She joins forces with him. She's quickly drawn into the secret business of magical booksellers, tasked with policing the legendary old world wherever it intrudes in on the new world. She tracks down her father, and Merlin searches for the old world entity who killed his mother. They find the quests strangely overlapping. Worse still, their investigation begins to attract unwanted attention from enemies of the old world and new worlds. With time running out and the society of booksellers in grave danger, they must race to find out the truth about their parents and prevent the release of the hordes of mythical past. So to finish up this book haul, I have something a little bit different for me. I am always super jealous, and I have FOMO of people that get these stunning book editions from book boxes. But in my current financial situation, and just in my heart being an Australian, I cannot justify buying these editions from, you know, big ones like Illumina Crate or Fairy Loot or any of that. And I discovered from watching a lot of Aussie booktubers that there's an Aussie version of that where the shipping was justifiable and the price was reasonable. So I was like, you know what? After contemplating it for a while, I'm going to join the Aussie one, Fabled. But the irony is, the second I signed up for a membership, a couple of days later, they're like, we're completely changing our whole business plan. So this is the one and only edition of this box I will be showing you. Yeah, I ended up probably, you know what, I'm not that mad about it changing and me not wanting to continue anyway, just with the time that it took for this book to get here. It's not something I would probably want to do again personally. So yeah, I'm going to show you this one and only edition of me getting something from the Australian book company Fabled. So I didn't get the whole box, I just got the book and pin, because I just probably would be stuff I would just not use and wouldn't be worth my money, so I just thought I would just get the book and pin. So this is, I'm just first time opening it, I haven't looked yet, thought I would open it on camera. So you've got the pin. Ooh, that's cool. Okay, like that's actually really pretty. That's like a little like skull looking thing with flowers. I don't know if you can see that properly. That's pretty. I like that. Okay, that's cool. Oh, an exclusive pin. That feels cool. So there's a pin. That's pretty cool. And then now for the book. So we've got the book here. And open it. Okay, I don't know what the book is because I haven't had it spoiled for me. So we're opening it now. Oh, it's hardback. Fantastic. Okay, so the book is The Warrior Midwife by E.P. Bailey. Look at those edges. Stunning. Ooh, I don't really have many sprayed edges like this. Okay, so got a little signed thing from the author, which is very cool. And then we have a note from the author, which is cool, which I'll read off camera. And then let's have a look. Oh, they're the end pages. That's so pretty. I love the colours. And then, oh, look at that. Okay, this is the naked book. It feels really nice, actually. There's the naked book. Stunning. And then on the back it says, be wise, be smart, be cunning if you can. Ooh, this is so pretty. I like the size too. I don't mind like a smaller hardback. Wow, this is gorgeous. Alright, I'll quickly read you the blurb. I'm actually glad I did this at least once, because I don't know, there's a feeling about unwrapping these special edition books. I get it now. It feels good. So this is about a princess midwife warrior. Her father made a binding agreement with the Fae King. It's Fae. This couldn't get any better. Fuck yeah. To protect his kingdom. Now Crown Princess Asaria must pay the price, marry the Crown Fae Prince, go into the monster's lair, and give up her protection of the vulnerable women of her home, Quartz City. But fate would not have her sent into the Fae Kingdom. Instead, forces far greater than she could have imagined plot the destruction of humanity. The Order of Tamari, an ancient guild of warrior midwives. Oh, that's cool. Sworn to protect women in childbirth from the demons who would take their babies' magical abilities are all but dead. But with Saria's coming of age, the Order has a chance at rebirth. Instead of going to sit the human cage betrothed in the Fae Kingdom, she disguises herself as a Fae warrior and sneaks away into the Fae Mountain Academy, where Fae males learn to become full-blooded warriors. Okay, that sounds kind of sick. Why am I thinking of checking out the new subscription that they have? God damn it. I was like, no, I wouldn't order this again. But like, I am so genuinely happy with this. Like, it's stunning. The end pages, the sprayed edges, the cover's really cool, but then like the naked is gorgeous. It feels really good. I like the size. The plot has like my full attention. And the pin is super cool as well. The little skull with flowers, like that's really cool. I've been meaning to get like a pin banner anyway and start putting out like my pin collection. So Has this just convinced me to try out their new subscription? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Are you gonna check out, if you're Aussie, you're gonna check out Fabled's new subscription service? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to discuss it because I'm unsure. So I think that's the biggest book haul I've ever done. To be fair, it's like been 3 months worth of purchasing, if that makes it any better. Let me know in the comments below which ones should I prioritize and which ones of my list have you read. As always, all of my social media links are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in whatever the hell I post next. Bye!